Hey everyone, welcome back to the Good Girl Box. If you're new here, I'm Karen, and this is the space where we break down the expectations and pressures that often come with being a good girl. Today, I want to dive into a topic that so many of us can relate to: the cost of people-pleasing, why it's okay to prioritize yourself. If you've ever struggled with putting everyone else's needs before your own, feeling guilty for saying no, or constantly trying to live up to others' expectations, this one's for you. We're going to talk about the emotional and mental toll that comes with people-pleasing, why it's not selfish to prioritize yourself, and how doing so can actually lead to a more authentic and fulfilling life. So grab a cozy drink and let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is people-pleasing? People-pleasing is when you're constantly bending over backward to make others happy, even if it means sacrificing your own needs, wants, or values. It's saying yes when you really want to say no, taking on responsibilities that leave you drained, or biting your tongue because you don't want to upset anyone. It often comes from a desire to be liked, accepted, or to avoid conflict. But here's the thing. While it might make others happy in the short term, it takes a serious toll on you in the long run. So, what are the costs of constantly putting others before yourself? Let's break down some of the most common ways people-pleasing can affect us. 1. Emotional exhaustion. Constantly trying to meet other people's expectations can leave you feeling drained and depleted. It's like you're giving away pieces of yourself until there's almost nothing left. You might even lose touch with your own desires and feelings because you're so focused on what others want. 2. Loss of authenticity. When you're always saying what others want to hear or doing what others expect, you end up hiding your true self. It's easy to feel like you're wearing a mask or playing a role. And that can be incredibly isolating because, deep down, you know that others aren't really connecting with the real you. 3. Resentment and frustration. Over time, constantly putting others' needs first can lead to feelings of resentment. You might start to feel like you're being taken for granted or that your own needs don't matter. And let's be real, resentment is a relationship killer. It's not sustainable for you, and it's not good for the people you care about either. 4. Mental health struggles. The pressure to be the good girl can lead to anxiety, stress, and even depression. When you're always putting yourself on the back burner, it can feel like you're never enough, no matter how hard you try. And that can take a serious toll on your mental well-being. Okay, now let's talk about the flip side. It's common to think that putting yourself first is selfish, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Here's why prioritizing yourself is actually essential for living authentically and building healthy relationships. 1. You can't pour from an empty cup. We've all heard this phrase, but it's true. If you're constantly giving without taking time to recharge, you'll eventually have nothing left to give. By taking care of your own needs, you're actually able to show up as a better, more present version of yourself for the people you care about. 2. Setting boundaries. Builds respect. When you set boundaries, you're teaching others how to treat you. You're showing them that your time, energy, and feelings are valuable. And believe it or not, most people will respect you more for it. Setting boundaries doesn't push people away. It creates the space for more honest, respectful connections. 3. Authenticity attracts the right people. When you're true to yourself, you attract people who appreciate the real you, not the version you think they want. This means more genuine connections, less resentment, and a deeper sense of belonging. Remember, it's better to have a few people in your life who love you for who you really are than a crowd that only likes the version of you that you've created to keep the peace. I want to share a bit of my own journey with this because I've definitely been there. Growing up in a traditional family, I felt a lot of pressure to be the good girl, to keep everyone happy and to live up to what was expected of me. For a long time, I put other people's needs first, even when it meant sacrificing my own happiness. It wasn't until I went through a big life change in my early 40s that I started to see how much this pattern was costing me. Getting divorced, stepping away from what was considered safe, and building a career that made me happy, it wasn't easy, and I felt a lot of guilt at first. But I knew deep down that I needed to live for myself, not just for others' expectations. And honestly, the more I focused on what brought me joy, the more I realized that I had been selling myself short. I started setting boundaries, saying no when I needed to, and being unapologetically myself. And you know what? It felt amazing. It's like I finally gave myself permission to just be, without worrying about what everyone else thought. If you're ready to start putting yourself first, here are a few simple steps to get you started. 1. Start small. Practice saying no to small requests that don't align with your needs or goals. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's a powerful way to reclaim your time and energy. 2. Identify your non-negotiables. Think about what's most important to you, whether it's time alone to recharge, pursuing a passion, or maintaining a certain level of self-care. Make a commitment to honoring those priorities. 3. Check in with yourself. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, is this something I truly want to do, or am I doing it out of obligation? Let your inner voice guide you rather than the pressure to please others. 4. Celebrate your wins. Every time you set a boundary or make a decision that aligns with your needs, celebrate it. It's a big deal, and it's a step toward living a more authentic, fulfilling life. Remember, prioritizing yourself doesn't mean you don't care about others. It means you're showing up in a way that's true to you. It's about creating a life where you're not just surviving, but thriving. And when you thrive, you inspire others to do the same. The cost of people-pleasing is just too high. It drains your energy, dims your light, and keeps you from living as your fullest self. So, let's change the narrative together. Let's normalize saying no, setting boundaries, and putting our own needs first. You deserve to live a life that feels good to you, a life where you feel seen, heard, and valued. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. How have you struggled with people-pleasing, and what are you doing to prioritize yourself? Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and remember, you are more than enough just as you are. Until next time, stay true to yourself and keep breaking out of that good girl box. See you in the next episode on the Good Girl Box.